made a decision to invest 3 first-round picks into a quarterback that didn't turn out to be the right choice. We got very lucky and very fortunate that a guy that we drafted in the 7th round made up for that. So, in my mind, we invested 3 first-round picks into the position, not into necessarily the one specific player.
Boy, that's some mental gymnastics there from 49ers owner Jed York. Because we got lucky, the year after we did the really stupid thing, it all evens out, and we're okay. We didn't do the really stupid thing after all, and it was really stupid to give up 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick to get Trey Lance and not use him right away and then put him on the bench all year, and then he starts the next year and he breaks his ankle, and the guy that you took an ultimate flyer on, the last pick in the draft, ends up being pretty damn good. Maybe Trey Lance would have been even better, but they gave up on him, and he's languishing now on the depth chart in Dallas while Brock Purdy has shown he is pretty good. And is that not a cautionary tale for all these teams that are falling all over themselves to try to draft a quarterback at the top of the process? Isn't that all we need to know? You never know where that great quarterback's going to come from. And it's impossible to fully and completely evaluate them. All that stuff that's going on between the scouting combine and the first day of the draft, all the poking and prodding, all of the studying of film, the pro day workout, the pro day workout is meaningless unless it's really bad. No one should have anything other than a great pro day workout. You're throwing to your teammates from college. You've had the chance to rehearse it as much as you want. You're in comfortable surroundings. The only bad pro day workout that I can remember is Teddy Bridgewater because he took his gloves off. He put his gloves back on for his private workout with the Vikings, and the Vikings liked what they saw, and they traded back into round 1 and drafted him. By the way, speaking of the Vikings, Paul Allen joining us in about 20 minutes. So that's where the 49ers are as it relates to the big picture quarterback acquisition. It all evens out. Even Steven is what they are. Regardless, they're eventually going to have to pay Brock Purdy. And Purdy, by rule, under the collective bargaining agreement, cannot get his second contract until after this coming regular season. Here is Jed York, again, on the topic of eventually giving Brock Purdy a giant pile of money.
I mean, I think it's a good problem when your quarterback is one of your highest paid guys on your team and in the league. So there's a lot of planning that goes into it. But, again, I'm glad that we have Prague, JL, Kyle. Like, they're the ones that will figure out the details of it. And I just have to sign the check. So my part in that's pretty easy.
But kind of hard too, isn't it?
It's not hard. I mean, it's what the market is, right? Like, it's not like Brock is going to ask for something that no one has ever asked for before. You have, I don't know how many players making over $40 million as a quarterback right now. And when we signed Jimmy several years ago, it was the largest deal in the history of the NFL for 3 minutes. But we were paying Jimmy 26 or 27, and you see like the market it's changed. And whether I like it or not, like that's what the market is, and you have to accept the reality of the world. And to me, the quarterback is the most important position, not just in football, but in all sports. And those guys should be paid a lot of money.
Wow. Clip that, save it. Brock Purdy's agents file that away for the negotiations that will begin. Really, you can start the negotiations this year. You can demand the contract, and I'm still waiting for somebody to do that. At the moment the third regular season ends, the second contract can be signed. If I'm on a playoff team and I've put in my 3 years and I've got postseason games still to be played and the injury risk that goes along with them, including the possibility somebody's going to hit me on my arm as I'm getting ready to throw a pass and blow out my elbow, I want my contract the moment the regular season ends. We'll see if the 49ers do that. That's a question that wasn't asked. That's a question that never gets asked. But the way the CBA is written, it's not after your third year ends all the way through the playoffs. It's after your third regular season ends. And I'll give the 49ers credit. They do compensate their quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo, it was $27.5 million per year on a 5-year deal. And it was literally a blink of an eye because Kirk Cousins got to 28 once that free agency period started. Even taking it back to Colin Kaepernick, back before he became Colin Kaepernick, the focal point of all sorts of political issues and culture wars and whatnot. The 49ers made him the highest paid player in the NFL for a little bit. Although I remember with his agents at the time, and I can't remember who they were, they really oversold it as a much better deal than it was. And once we got the real numbers, it was like, this deal isn't nearly what you're claiming it to be. And the 49ers kept him for a few years, and then it got to the last year of the contract, and I think it was voidable. He elected to void it. The 49ers would have cut him anyway. That was one of the big anti-Kaepernick talking points. Well, he's the one who walked away from the 49ers. They were going to cut him anyway. John Lynch has said it on this program. They were going to cut him anyway. Anyway, I don't want to go back down that rabbit hole. The point is, the 49ers pay their quarterbacks when the time comes. That's good news for Brock Purdy. The problem is, the challenge is, the difficulty comes from finding the right spot on the range. 55 is the top of the market right now. They paid Jimmy Garoppolo the top of the market. That would be my argument. You've got another great quarterback, and Garoppolo wasn't even there for very long. You made Jimmy Garoppolo the highest paid quarterback in the NFL when he was with you for half of a season. This guy's been with you for 3 years. You've never had to pay him much money. He was the last pick in the draft. Whatever the top of the market is after this year, I want that plus $1. What are they going to say to that? No? I don't know. Does he deserve top of the market? If he's not top of the market, where does he land? Between Joe Burrow at 55, which is a real 55, and Daniel Jones at 40, which is a Fugazi 40, where does he land? Look at Josh Allen at 43. Brandon Beane, the GM of the Bills, did not appreciate it 4 weeks and 3 days ago when I made that point about at some point you got to fix Josh Allen's contract. But where do you land on that hierarchy? And where's it going to go from here? Now, Patrick Mahomes has had his deal reshuffled where they front-loaded it, so over the next few years he's making 55, and they'll continue to do that every few years. But he signed that ultra-long-term deal. You know, what if you're Brock Purdy? What if Brock Purdy decides, I don't like what they've offered me, I'll just enter year 4 of my contract, and they can franchise tag me in 2026. And they can franchise tag me in 27, and I'll be Kirk Cousins in 2028. I keep waiting for more quarterbacks to do that, to say affirmatively, I'm just going to take 2 tags. You're not going to give me a 44% raise in year 3, and if you do, great. I was doing the math the other day. I mean, it becomes astronomical by that 3rd tag because you have the base tag, it's 20% raise for year 2, and then a 44% raise over year 2 for year 3, which is why Kirk Cousins became a free agent. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.